Hello there everyone, it's the J-Man Turtle Man coming at you with a brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle episode review. Hey man, it's the J-Man and thank you for tuning in for another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle episode review. I want to apologize if I don't sound too great. Still fighting out this illness that's just lingering on, so sorry about that. We had a very special episode this last weekend on Nickelodeon. It was their 100th episode. 100 episodes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nickelodeon. Thank you to Nickelodeon, thank you to the Turtles crew. If anybody watches this video from that Turtles crew, a sincere thank you. You can tell that it's a product of love, respect for the source, caring for the fans, and also to Nickelodeon, thank you so much for allowing the Turtles crew to give them the freedom to give us a product that is sometimes edgy and very fun. Case in point, this last episode on Nickelodeon, The Power Inside Her. This episode was kind of a whole wrap-up to the whole story arc with April and her psychic powers and her crystal shard that she needs to defeat the Skeksis. No, that's a reference to the Dark Crystal. We find out that there is a spirit of an evil Aeon trapped in her crystal shard named Zonaron, and we find out through a funny Ghostbusters reference. And Zonaron wants to cleanse the planet Earth through April. She's possessing April and using her psychic powers to cleanse the planet Earth. This was a good episode for Donatello, sort of, but we'll get to that in a minute. Donnie kind of feels responsible because he kind of hooked April up to this, the machine that kind of amplifies her powers that caused her to become possessed by this crystal. So he's trying to reach out and stop April. All the turtles are there. April goes on a rampage through the city, destroying everything, hurting the purple dragons, and the whole time being possessed by this Zonaron character. And she has psychic powers, again, like force choke like Darth Vader. And and it's Donnie that kind of feels responsible for it. So he's out trying to stop April, and she's up on Channel 6 news building, and thunder, lightning, and she grabs Donnie with her psychic powers, and it's a really good moment between her and Donnie's just saying, April, please, don't give in to the crystal. And she's fighting, but eventually she gives in, and Zonaron just disintegrates Donatello. Gone. So April has totally given in to the power of the crystal, and the turtles are still trying to bring her back. Raph even suggests that they just have to destroy her, and he has her grab her, and Mikey can't. Mikey just it can't. It's April, and each of them are trying to get her to remember who she is and bring him back. Leonardo pulls a Mufasa and just says over and over again, remember who you are. Mikey brings up Ice Cream Kitty and pizza parties. Casey brings up Mutagen Man, her and Casey battling Mutagen Man, and also all the cool space stuff they've been in. And now Casey, let's talk about Casey Jones in this episode. Casey had some pretty good moments in this episode. A lot of redeeming moments, I thought, especially coming off the space arc episodes where he's just a little bit intolerable. He has a really cool action scene with Tiger Claw, Fish Face, and Razar. They're he's trying to stop him from getting more mutagen for Super Shredder, and he's driving in a car, and that scene made me laugh when he's driving. Then all of a sudden there's a flaming Footbot Elite right next to him. That was pretty funny. Throughout this episode, they had some really good, tiny little moments, soft moments on his face when he's looking up at April, when he's just staring at disbelief of what happened to Donatello. And, he just says, oh my gosh, and he says it really well. Josh Peck delivered some really good lines through Casey in this episode, and I thought it was really cool. Some really good moments for Casey Jones. And for the longest time, I thought it was going to be Casey that kind of snaps April out of her possession, but actually it's Raphael. While the turtles and Casey are trying to tell her all these things, they got her like chained up and they're trying to make her remember, Leonardo said, remember who you are. Mikey brings up Splinter and Pizza. Casey brings up Space and Mutagen Man. In the meantime, April has Raphael in like a death grip and he is about to disintegrate. And all of a sudden he says to her, he says, remember Donnie. Like that's, he can barely squeak it out. And then there's some really cool flashback moments of all these awesome April Donatello moments. And that's what does it, and it snaps her out, and she's managed to take the crystal and smash it on the ground. Those flashback moments with her and Donatello, it didn't really feel like that kind of ridiculous love triangle that they had going on in the earlier episodes, that awkward love thing that Donnie had with her. It felt way more like family, brother, sister kind of love, which was a really plus for me. April O'Neil, let's talk about that. If you've watched some of my past videos, you know that this April psychic power, her being with the turtles all the time thing, has kind of bothered me a little bit. But this episode really brought some stuff into light. I really wanted to get a female's perspective on April O'Neil as a character in this episode. So I watched this episode with my wife, Katie, who is a female, and I just wanted to see what she thought. And we talked about it, and there's some really good points, I think, that I want to talk about. First of all, really appreciative of what Nickelodeon and the Turtle team has done with April O'Neil as a character. In the past she's been a plot device, the damsel in distress, and she really never got a chance to show up as a really good character. With this series, though, they have really made her more of a ninja in there with the turtles. She started training early on with Master Splinter. She has her fan blade thing that she is pretty good at. And then later on, when they came back from space, she became a kunoichi with the turtles, and she got a little sword. That's really cool. But if she was just a ninja, I think that would mean more to her as a character. One of the appealing things I think about the Ninja Turtles is that they're not superheroes. Yeah, they're mutant turtles, but they don't really have any superpowers. Their action and their abilities comes from skill that they've learned through 15 or whatever years of training with Master Splinter, which is an obtainable goal for really anyone, mutant turtle or human, who wants to do that. And I think that speaks very well for what the turtles, for how they do, instead of just having superpowers. But with April, now she has these psychic powers that just, I don't think, seem necessary. They do make for some pretty cool storylines, just like this last episode. Watching this episode with Katie, she thinks, and I agree with her, that as a female role model, April, it would mean more to whoever's watching this episode, females, males, little kids, little girls, whoever. It would mean more as a character, I think, if she just had her ninja skills, if she worked hard and obtained this goal that is obtainable to battle evil, instead of having this psychic powers that's just kind of given to her. April can be a good, strong female role model on her own without psychic abilities. Case in point, the end of this episode, when she defeats Zonron for good. She smashes the crystal, Zonron comes out of her body, she's not possessed anymore, goes into attack, and April pulls out her sword, and we see a cartoon cutaway slash, and then Zonron is destroyed. April defeats Zonron, as Master Splinter said, literally defeats her demons with her pure ninja skill. But in the end, we find out that she still has her psychic powers. She restores Donnie. He's like doing a Mike TV floating around in space, and zooms back in, and he reconfigures into Donatello. And at the end of the episode, we see her like close her eyes and lift up her sword telepathically or telekinetically, and grabs it. So she still has her psychic powers, but I don't think they will be as pronounced as they have been, especially in the last few episodes, now that the crystal is gone. So, The Power Inside Her, episode 100 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nickelodeon. A decent episode. We finally get a wrap up to the whole April and her psychic powers and crystal possession thing. She still has her psychic powers. Alright. Casey. I was expecting more from Casey in this episode. They seemed to kind of build it up throughout the episode, and it was kind of a letdown. And also, the animation in this episode didn't seem quite up to par with the last few episodes. Especially when it was raining, everything seemed kind of muddled and mudded together. It didn't really look all that great, I thought. But a good April episode, a good Donnie episode too. I really liked Donatello in this episode. But overall, I'm going to give it a 78% C+. Well, it looks like we have another break from new episodes coming up, probably because of Thanksgiving weekend here in the States. So I think episodes return maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, not that long of a hiatus. So stay tuned for new episodes coming. Hopefully I'll be making some new episode reviews of past episodes of Ninja Turtles. Thank you guys for watching my episode review. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my other videos and follow me on Instagram. So, until next time, I'm the J-Man Turtle Man saying, Cowabunga!